Hey guys, my name is Simpzy. How you all doing? Welcome back to some more Medieval Kingdoms Total War 1212 AD. Here today on the channel, we have another online multiplayer battle replay. This time around, it's a 1v1 land battle between Switzerland and the Kingdom of Hungary. So, if you like the sound of that, feel free to leave the video a like and subscribe if you're new. I'd really much appreciate it. Feel free to join the Discord, of course, linked in the description below, where you can send me over your online battle replays, preferably online, but I don't mind the occasional CPU versus AI battle to cover. So here we go. Switzerland marches against the Hungarian invaders. Switzerland wants to defend, I guess, their mountain island home, and this time around Swiss neutrality is not going to be present. They've been quite aggressive, the Swiss, in these last couple of battle replays. If it's anything like the last battle to go by, hopefully this doesn't end in a Switzerland defeat. But let's have a look at the Hungarians here. Pretty close, both sides, high medieval units, cavalry, quite even, same with their infantry as well, and archers, but it's going to be a good one as both sides slowly but surely make their way up to no man's land and go to battle it out. So here are the Hungarian crossbows. Check out the beautiful artwork there on the back of those shields. Shame they're probably going to be destroyed and riddled with arrows, more than likely. So it's a stock standard flat field battle. Looking at the topography and terrain of this battle map, super even, nice and flat, very little high rises or advantages overall. Okay, so we've got some handgunners now in position as Hungary starts to pepper and rain fire and death upon the Swiss infantry there, but the handgunners are going to get some shots off first, so skirmishing between the two sides is now broken out, and I would imagine that Switzerland probably has the advantage with those handgunners now, with supporting crossbows. So they're sort of trading at the moment, nothing too crazy, and Switzerland is now focusing all their skirmisher firepower at the crossbow unit there, looking to phase and try and neutralize it on out. But that added protection when they drop to reload is really going to help them out with those huge shields up and over the top. It's currently a 50-50 balance of power wise. It's going to be interesting to see who can win this one out. Let me know in the comments, who do you think is going to win? The Hungarians or the Swiss? Okay, so they're just trading skirmish fire at the moment. Nothing too crazy. No cavalry has moved into position to flank just yet. And even the crossbows here of the Swiss are just angling their shots up, which might be able to clip those crossbows from the side and rear as well, where they're a little bit more exposed, which is good. The handgunners seem to be saving their ammunition for now, and they're being moved around as well. Okay, so Switzerland now is moving some cavalry up, and he looks like he might push his infantry as well. He's keeping his cavalry super close to his infantry, looking to intertwine, maybe even to protect those handgunners that want to expand slightly. I'm just going to put up the speed of this battle slightly, because it just turns into a bit of a skirmish off. Sometimes the start of the battles can take a little bit while to go, but they seem to be skirmishing each other out incredibly well. And these handgunners are just ripping through the Hungarian defensive. And it looks like maybe the cavalry... No, I was going to say maybe the handgunners got caught there, but the cavalry has managed to push on through. Get out of the way, handgunners, as the Swiss cavalry and the Hungarians clash on the left-hand side. And now it looks like Hungary doesn't want to sit back and relax. He's advancing forward. You can maybe see the front line of the Swiss a little bit out of position and cohesion. It's a strong, long Hungarian front line pushing on in, and the Swiss are going to have to react quickly. So cavalry on the left here is battling it out. Some handgunners have been caught by the look of it, and have been neutralized and phased out, which is not good. However, they've still got one more in reserve, the Swiss. But here come the Hungarians descending upon the Swiss. And now some crossbowmen have been caught here in the thick of it as well. Oh my god, that guy just got bonked on the head by the biggest halberd I've ever seen. But here come the Hungarians. Oh my god, they're really smashing on through. So the Swiss have yet to put up their front line. It looks like the Swiss are moving their cavalry around the right here. And looks, what are the Hungarians doing? They might be pushing there with their heavy shock. And they might clip them on the sides as well. The Hungarians are giving some additional crossbow support, but it is still really too close to call for this one. So the Hungarians have advanced. They came flying on in with acceleration and high octane, but then they've held off a bit. Although they're just slowly but surely edging on forward. Oh, here we go. We've got a bit of a pike off here between the Hungarians and the Swiss. And the Swiss have managed to get their handgunners back into it as well. I can't wait to see the casualties sustained and inflicted, because sometime around those handgunners are so useful. You tend to see them in these online multiplayer battles. Some people usually try to bring one or two, because if they're used well and effectively, they can be a very potent unit in this mod. Okay, so it's really hard to call here. Both the Hungarians and the Swiss trading hard on this other side. Look, these online battles have been absolutely exceptional in the 1212 AD mod. I've definitely noticed, like, I wonder if it's the unit balance, because the 1212 AD online battles that I've covered, they've been super close. I don't know, maybe it's because of there's probably a lot of contributing factors. Maybe it's the quality of players, maybe there's just a lot of good players that play this, maybe it's like the balancing of the units as well, because I feel like in DEI, once one player gains the ascendancy, they just like flood on through. But in this mod, they trade so far back and forth. The momentum trying to like watch, call and cast this, it just goes back and forth wildly. I don't have too much experience actually playing these, but I don't know, let me know in the comments. Maybe you guys, if you're in that community and quite often play weekly 1212 AD battles, like is the balancing like on point? Because campaign wise it was from my perspective, but there's a huge difference between campaigns and online battles. And also particularly as well, I played most of my 1212 AD campaigns in like they were mostly early access versions. It's been a while. I was looking back, I was like, man, it felt like it was only a couple months ago. It was yesterday. Then I did most of those Medieval Kingdoms Total War 1212 AD campaigns, but it's nearly been 2 years ago now, looking at December. So maybe I need to redo them, because they had added a lot of scripts and they're just quality of life changes as well. We've got a lot of scripted events and missions and stuff. So maybe I need to start a 1212 AD campaign. Anyway, it does look like it is going to the Hungarians in this one. Both cavalry units are trading here back and forth, but it looks like the Hungarians are going to move in an infantry unit for some additional support. So I don't know how much longer those Swiss cavalry units are now going to hold. But the center as well, I think it is just still super close to call. Both sides of interlocked units, and they're really just grinding things out. Nothing tactically is going on too crazy here just yet. It is just sheer brute force in units trading back and forth. Who is going to win this one? I don't know. It's still way too close. Okay, so after both sides grinded on through, Switzerland are going to make a defensive position down here, and it looks like in this last defensive charge, the Hungarians have been really quite whittled down. They do have a couple spare units here and there, the Swiss, but it looks like the tide is turned, and if Hungary can't push on through this Swiss defensive position, it's going to end in a Hungarian defeat and a Swiss victory. As they charge on in, yeah, they just basically, stats-wise, the Swiss grinded them out on through. And this is the last stand of the Swiss. Can they just hold off from this Hungarian advance? Or is it going to really happen what's been happening throughout this battle? Just the Hungarians can't seem to break down the Swiss defensive block. But casualties wise and inflicted, they've both traded super hard here. So whoever wins it on out, it's going to be a Pyrrhic victory, definitely either side. But a really cool battle map as well. A lot of flowers, blue flowers and red poppies scattered throughout. And the Hungarians are just trying to push through the Swiss here. But will it be enough? More than likely not, as the Hungarians are wavering. And that's it. The battle has ended there. A Pyrrhic victory in the end for the Swiss. So looking at the casualties sustained and inflicted, we'll go through the stats. Also, huge shout out to the players in this online battle replay. It was a good one. It was super, super close. So numerically, yeah, I said it was quite even. The Hungarians had 100 extra men, roughly, which is negligible, really. The Swiss lost 1.1k, and the Hungarians lost 1.6. Looking at the Swiss cavalry, so they had 2 and then the general unit, while the Hungarians had 3 in the general unit. So they slightly outnumbered them with the cavalry, not by much. The Swiss handgunners, okay, 56-34. I thought they, well, the way they were shooting and peppering off a lot of shots, I thought they were taking a lot more, but sometimes it's hard to tell. So they weren't really making a dent whatsoever. The Swiss infantry did most of the work. One of them got 373 kills. Crikey. 342, that's tremendous. Wow. While the Hungarians, yeah, their infantry didn't perform as well, and they were a little bit to be desired. Generals-wise as well, both kept them in reserve quite a bit. They didn't want to risk them, so there's only 31 and 13. Sometimes you see these players willing to risk the RNG of chucking the general in, but this time around they kept them in reserve, which is interesting. That's why they were so low kills-wise. Yeah, archers-wise and missiles, really quite close. Like, the Hungarian crossbows got 100 kills between them, but it wasn't really too much of a missile offensive. It just turned into an infantry grind towards the end, and the Swiss managed to win on out. Cool, that was a really good battle. Anyway, unfortunately, I've got to end the video here. Thanks for watching. I've got to play the outro now. Stay tuned for more videos on the channel, boys. Unfortunately, it's time to end the video here. Thank you very much for watching. Check out my social media links in the description below if you want to stay connected with me. I also want to say thank you to this month's patrons and channel members: Victor K, Sebastian C, Jordan K, Caesar L, Brian S, Tao, Lion B, Kyle P, Tom C, and White P. My name has been Simpzy. Much love from Australia. I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.